Hello again, folks. Barry here with Barry's 8-track and classic car radio repair and demonstrating yet another completed conversion. This is out of a 1966 Mustang. It's from Bob in Austin, Florida. And one thing I'll mention about this particular model, this is, to my knowledge, the first model that was, the first 8-track player that was ever offered in cars, and possibly even altogether, because I believe the home units came after the car units. But at any rate, this is the first model ever introduced into cars that had an 8-track, and on top of that, the customer, I'm pretty sure, had to ask for it. So that means that the 8-track players in this model just got played to death, and most of them will need a new head to get decent sound out of it. And that's the case with this one. This one needed a new head, and so we're going to test it out and make sure everything works before we send it back to the customer. This gentleman requested pretty much the all bells and whistles package, FM conversion, of course, with the USB and Bluetooth functions, and the only thing that he didn't request was the external input-output box, which has your 4-channel line outputs and your aux input. Bob just wanted the subwoofer output, and that was small enough to just stick on the back of the unit along with the 2 jacks for the aux input. So let's go ahead and turn this puppy on. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, so we're not going to get our strong AM station, but we might pick up the one that's around 1400. So I've got it set to FM at the moment, so let's just go ahead and turn her on.
Inviting on new artists.
And we're going to go up and down the dial. Make sure we pick up a good number station here.
Never let anyone else tell me.
Because there's 10 already.
But I'll tell you, they have seen their
15.
we have different terms and different names.
The foundations are spending over one
problems, kids in trouble.
Okay, I wasn't really counting, but it looks like there's around 30 FM stations that we were able to tune in. So let's go ahead and switch it over to AM, see if we get anything at this time of night. Now, on a unit that does not have an AM-FM switch, you switch between bands by turning the unit off and then right back on within about half a second. So here we go. Off, on. Okay, now we're on the AM band.
the field, the tree. This is me. That's what they've done here.
Okay, so that's pretty typical AM performance at 1 o'clock in the morning. You get some stations that are not really stations, and of course our strong station signs off at sundown. So there's just to show that the AM does work. So let's go ahead and put it back to FM. We're going to try a couple other things. Off, on, back onto FM. Okay, now I'm going to bring our output level meters in the picture so we can see the results of our adjustment. The original balance control was okay, so I was able to use that. And then we also have a front-rear fader, which of course the unit never had because it was only designed to operate 2 speakers at that time. And I'm going to show you guys how to activate the virtual fader using the tone control. So let's switch to our output level meters. Take our unit to the left-hand corner there. Okay, now we'll just check the factory balance control. Left, right, left, right, and center the speakers. Okay, now we're going to activate the virtual the virtual fader. Now, if the unit has the Bluetooth feature, you'll hear a female voice announcing the fader function. Otherwise, you'll just hear a tone. This does have the Bluetooth, so we're going to activate the fader. We're going to give our tone control 2 turns to the right. And so the first thing I'll do is rotate my control to give me room to rotate it to the right. And here we go.
Fader adjust.
Okay, there's a lady saying fader adjust. And now the same control is adjusting your front to rear speaker balance. And you can adjust it as long as you want. And after you stop adjusting it and take your hand off the control, it waits about 2 seconds, and then you'll hear a beep. And that beep lets you know that setting has been saved, and this is once again just the tone control. Alrighty, let's go ahead and activate the Bluetooth function. As is almost always the case, I don't go to all the time to pair it with the device and get it going through the stereo. I just want to make sure that it does activate, which tells me that the Bluetooth function is working. And one way we can activate it is giving our volume control 2 turns to the right. The volume control this time, not the tone control. So here we go.
Bluetooth ready to pair.
Okay, she said Bluetooth ready to pair. Since we're not pairing it with anything, she's going to come back on in 90 seconds saying pairing not completed. While we're waiting for that, we can go ahead and test the USB reader feature. And we don't need our output level meters anymore, so we'll get rid of that. And we've got our USB dongle coming out the back here. And there she is. I'm just going to plug my radio commercial into it, which is on a USB stick, make sure it works. Okay, you see the drive flashing, indicating data transfer. And that's my commercial that you hear, my radio commercial. Unplug it, radio comes right back. Okay, so we've tested the Bluetooth. Let's go ahead and test the dial lamp. Make sure that flashes on and off in response to my command, and you can see that it does. And the last thing to test is the 8-track. And as is usually the case, after I get done with the 8-track, it's a lot louder and a lot crisper than the original. So you might want to turn the unit down before you put an 8-track in there because it may be kind of loud. So here we go. We've got some Anne Murray. Switch tracks. Now you might notice that sounds a little bit shrill. This is a relatively new tape without much wear, but on older tapes that have lost a lot of their treble, you're going to want that extra treble. For newer tapes like this one, all you have to do is just back the tone control off a little bit, and it'll sound more like an 8-track normally sounds. Okay, there's the female voice saying pairing not completed, and we're going to wait for the next song to start. We just switch tracks automatically there. We'll wait for Ann. Here we go. And once again, we'll show you how much treble you can get. So we can make it go from a little bit too shrill to very mellow using our tone control. Switch tracks a few more times. Alrighty, pull the tape out, radio comes back on immediately. Now we're going to test the aux input, make sure that works. Now after using the aux input, the radio does wait 20 seconds to come back on. That's because of a Vox circuit. Vox, V-O-X, stands for voice operated switch. And that circuit is designed to hold on to the aux input a little bit longer than it really needs to, just to make sure that it's not constantly switching back and forth between songs and during quiet music passages. So we're going to go ahead and plug the aux into the aux jack. I've just got a quick tone that I feed into it to test that. There's one side. If I can find the jack, here we are. Okay, there's our aux signal through one side. You can see the radio is switched away from the radio into the aux input. Other side. Okay, and there's our aux signal. Now, if you don't like that delay before the radio comes back on, all you have to do is turn it off, turn it right back on, and it cancels out that delay. So we're just going to go ahead and wait for the radio to come back on by itself. It'll be about another 7 or 8 seconds, and then we'll wrap this up, and we'll see that everything is working properly. Oh, and one other thing that this customer requested was a separate USB port only for charging. So I've got an extra USB port, and this is only for charging devices. It won't act as a comm link, and it won't play music on a USB drive. That's what this other one was for, the black one. That's the one that will both charge and play music off of a USB drive. So that takes care of this demonstration. Everything's working properly. She's ready to go back to the customer, and I might be going to bed pretty soon. And once again, I'm Barry with Barry's 8-track and classic car radio repair. You've just seen what I can do to an AM radio that has an 8-track, and even an AM/FM radio that has an 8-track, and also 8-tracks by themselves. I accept those for repair also, obviously. My number is 928-533-9666. My website is in the description below. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.